What's going on, everyone? Emeroy here, and today we're going to be talking about the new changes in Instagram's algorithm and the new guidelines. Alright, so Instagram rolled out with some changes last month at the beginning of 2018, and I know I'm a little bit late to the party to share, but still, February, I figured I'd make this video for you guys anyways and share a little bit of my 2 cents. If you're someone who's looking to promote yourself or your product, your business, whatever it is, your freaking cafe, you know how important social media marketing is, from Facebook ads to YouTube ads to AdWords to freaking even Instagram. But with these platforms, we're at the mercy of the changes that they put on this. So that sometimes that means the tactics that you're used to, the strategy that you have in place, might not work just the minute they change it. So that's where I think some people may or may not be happy with these changes because it affects that.
What's that ominous glow in the distance?
But what I think is that Instagram is just mainly looking. It's easy for people to say that Instagram is only thinking about the advertisers. You might be right, but in order to attract the advertisers, they have to have a user base, and not only just the user base, they need to keep it growing. And in order to keep it growing, they gotta change it and adapt it, make it better for the regular people who are using it, not marketers, not business people, regular people who are on it just to share photos, to show off their lives, whatever they want to curate. So that means if they keep the user count growing, that means it's good for advertisers, which means it's good for business, which means it's good for us as well. And for those of you who have systematized and gamed the system, I definitely have systematized and gamed the system, first comment hashtags, that means the old tactics no longer work. And I remember back in 2017 when I was talking to a lot of people about, helping them with their Instagram game, how to use hashtags, improving their bio, things like that. I told them that, just because these tactics are working now doesn't mean it's going to work in the future. And the future is now, so it's time to adapt.
The future has finally arrived. Yes, it is different than we all thought.
And with that, here are some of the changes. So when you post on Instagram, not everyone's going to see it anymore. It's going to be about 10% of your overall following is going to see it. So that means if you have 1,000 people, 100 people are going to see it. If you have 100 people, 10 people are going to see it. And you better hope that I think it's generally focusing on the people who are most engaged with your stuff, the people who like it the most, the people who commented on the most. And if you have 100 followers, you better hope those 10 people actually see your stuff, because if you get good engagement from the get-go, then it'll show to the rest of the 90%. If you notice that some of your posts just don't get a whole lot of traction, it's because it didn't get that initial momentum it needed, so it can be shown to the rest of the 90%. Reminds me when Facebook pages, Facebook dropped the Facebook pages engagement to 10% back, I think around 2012, 2011, 2013, one of those. Early 2010s era, down to 10%. So same thing happening here. Like if you had 1,000 likes back then, only 100 of them would see it. And it kind of pushed people who had Facebook pages to start using their advertising platform, which is by far one of the best advertising platforms that exist out there. And speaking of Facebook, since Facebook owns Instagram, and considering what Mark Zuckerberg shared earlier in terms of focusing on quality engagement, you could see that the changes here on Instagram isn't so much the seeing posts they think you would like. I think they're focusing more on the engaged posts, on quality engagement. And the more quality engagement that you have initially, I think that's what's going to cause them, it's going to register to them as something good that's going to be shared to everyone else. I think it's kind of trying to protect the users from just spam and just content that they won't be interested in. They want people to engage into something that's worth talking about. It's kind of like the way I think about it is like, a crowded club. Like you see a line outside. Nothing draws a crowd more than a crowd. Alright, I hope that made sense, by the way. Anyways, second change in the guideline is you better start engaging immediately. That means anyone who comments on your posts, you gotta respond to them within the next 60 minutes. Otherwise, it's gonna gradually, not it meaning the algorithm, is gonna gradually decrease your exposure to everyone else. And I think it's just good practice too, because there's a lot of accounts that I've seen where they get a lot of engagement or a lot of comments on their photos, and a lot of people just don't comment back. I think that's kind of weird. It's almost like someone going up to you and saying, "Hey, nice shoes," or "nice dress," and you just blankly stare at them. I think people have lost the touch with the whole social part of social media, and they're more focused on the branding side of it, where they're trying to show like, "Hey, I have this amazing life," or "Hey, I'm XYZ." They forget to the important part of social media, which is being social. They're too focused on the media end. Alright, so the third change is, in order for something to count as engagement, is a comment, it has to be 4 or more words. So, you know, those bots, or if you're even trying to engage with other people through commenting on influencers' posts or hashtags, dope, love it, get it, this is awesome, is not going to cut it anymore, because not only that's 3 words, it's also going to be marked as spammy. And this goes back to people, you know, that initial 10% of your posts. If people comment on your post and it's only like 2 words, love it, it's not going to count as engagement. It has to be 4 or more words. And that's the thing that sucks, is not everyone's going to know about that, because you might have friends that say dope or beast, and what sucks is that it doesn't count it. That means even though you're getting all these comments from genuine people, it doesn't increase the likelihood of your exposure to everyone else. Even though the focus is more on quality engagement, it is kind of a backlash for people who get engagement from people but don't say much. Alright, so I know that the first few weren't exactly, you know, uplifting changes, but I think these 2 are, if you're using them. I don't use one of them. I love Instagram stories. Haven't used Instagram Live yet. Haven't made the time to really invest in getting my Instagram Live game up. But the reason why it's great is because it actually pops you up in the news feed, because it's another way of quality engagement. When people are watching your stories, there's no other distractions going on. They're not, you know, scrolling immediately. If they're actually genuinely watching your stories, their attention is right there. And the same thing with Instagram Live. If you have a good audience and people are commenting and you're talking to them, another way of great quality engagement. You're starting to see the theme here, or at least that's what I'm catching. Alright, so the next one is something that I get questioned by a lot, from just friends, from clients, from people I'm just trying to help, is the use of hashtags. The use of hashtags is now limited. The limit of hashtags is still 30. Back then it was 30, but the limit hasn't changed. It's how you use it. It's a great change because I, like many others, abused the fact that you can use hashtags to try to get attention. And I remember when we first were able to really take advantage of that, and how easy it was to get followers, easy to get likes. Not so much now anymore, especially, you know, getting shadow banned if you repeat the same hashtags, which I'm just going to talk about in a little bit. But now if you use the entirety of 30 hashtags, it's going to be considered spamming. So the best practice now is to use 5 unique, relevant to the post hashtags. Prior to learning any of this knowledge, I was still using the old tactics, which kind of got me in trouble in terms of getting the engagement that I was looking for. Shifted it to this method, which is less body, less spammy. It definitely shifted how Instagram was seeing me. Speaking of hashtags, do not use the same hashtags over and over and over again. So one of the hashtags I use is hashtag b-boy, which is breakdancing. For those of you who don't know what that is, say if I use that for the next 10 posts, the algorithm's gonna view that as spammy, potentially get me on a shadow ban if I keep abusing it. And if you don't know what shadow banning is, I'll create a video of that, and if it's already been created, it should be in the link down below. Back to that though, if I keep using the same hashtag over and over, it's gonna mean decrease in exposure, and as we're saying, we need that increase of exposure to our first 10% so we can get to the rest of the 90% and potentially, you know, expose it to the rest of the world. The next one is first comment hashtags are no longer going to be seen under search results. It's no longer going to be crawled. It's no longer going to count. And I kind of wish they kept this one because I liked how it kept the captions clean, but I also like that there's a limit on the hashtag, so it still kind of like keeps it clean. It's not cluttered with a hashtag paragraph. It's just a couple hashtags that are relevant to the post. So if I haven't said that enough, make sure hashtags are relevant to the post and unique, different each time. And the last update is do not edit the caption within the first 24 hours of posting, because the algorithm is going to view that as a low quality caption or low quality post, and again decreases your exposure. Same thing as in within deleting your post and reposting it just because you didn't get the likes you wanted. It's going to show that it was a low quality post to begin with, and again decrease your exposure. Alright, so that's it for the new Instagram algorithm changes for 2018. Let me know if you guys got any questions. Let me know if I missed something, because I did the research, but you never know. And I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your thoughts on the new changes. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Let me know. Comments down below. Ooh, that rhymed. If it's the first time on this channel, make sure you hit like, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell somewhere here. That way you get updates and notifications of when we post the latest and greatest. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your attention. Hope you guys found this useful, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.